What's up, everybody? Celtic Scarecrow here, back with another video. Get those 10s and 20 views. Coach will not continue on this channel. It has got 2 views. So just go to the top page. But today we are going back to the Fat Electrician for 2 videos. One is the first video he posted on YouTube, which is the Fat Electrician reviews the Marine Corps. And then we're going to do at least one more video, which is Marines versus AI. So those should be good. And I am wearing my Carolina Panthers t-shirt jersey because they are playing in roughly an hour and 20 minutes from time of recording. Channel news. Well, kind of. I plan on doing a lot more streaming come September, which will be over on Kick. So next Saturday, I think if I do the fantasy football, I will do a live fantasy football draft. Maybe my own channel fantasy football draft. I haven't decided that. But yeah, I'm going to do a lot more streaming. Assassin's Creed, God of War, maybe Halo, the Friday Night Fright. Didn't happen this week because I was watching the Panthers game, trying to see how good are we going to be. Hopefully I've seen good things. And if all the mandates come back, I'm not wearing a mask, so that could be bad for my real world job, which means you'll see me more here. But that's all depressing, but let's get to it. The first one is actually a short, so we have to go to this mode. And let's see what the Fat Electrician has to say about the Marine Corps.
My drill sergeant.
My dad was a Marine. If I were to go into the military, that would have been the branch.
He told me there's only 2 branches of the United States military. There is the Army and there is the Navy. The Air Force is a corporation and the Marines is a cult.
Yeah, I kind of can see that.
And I don't mean that negatively. I just mean the Marines are the only branch that's ever been officially asked by PETA to quit drinking Cobra blood.
True.
Yeah, that actually happened. They're the only branch of the U.S. military that has a phrase that goes something like, "There's no such thing as an ex-Marine. You're a Marine forever." These guys do not fuck around. Now, I've never been to...
Yeah, they're kind of that branch of fuck around and find out. That's kind of like the U.S. military version of that.
Hell, but I'm assuming it is where you just relive the day that the United States Marines invades your country over and over and over again. Because these motherfuckers roll up in legitimate transformers. Their goddamn helicopters turn into airplanes in mid-fucking flight. Their boats turn into fucking tanks. These crazy motherfuckers are known for having the worst living conditions, the worst fucking budget, and the hardest training and the lowest life expectancy out of any other branch of the military. Why? Because fuck you, they're Marines and they're willing to fight about it. Seriously.
From what I've seen, yes. From people who, my friends that are in the military or used to be in the military.
So getting in a firefight with the United States Marines sounds terrifying. It's like getting...
Hold up. An anime has popped up in the background. I'll even be kind. It's an anime called Radiant. I literally was clicking on it. I don't know why I just decided to start up on the background, but you just heard the start of the Funimations of it. But let's get back to Fat Electrician pretty much saying how afraid he is of the Marines.
Into a firefight in Call of Duty against a 7-year-old that's got cheat codes where he just doesn't fucking run out of bullets. Let me give you guys an example. This right here is a Mark 19. What's a Mark 19, you ask? A Mark 19 is maybe the most terrifying weapon
I've slightly heard of this thing, yeah.
I've ever fucking seen in my life. It's a machine gun that shoots grenades. I'm going to say that slower. It's a fucking machine gun that shoots goddamn grenades. And these...
That's pretty much saying we're going to aim for an area and it's going to be just not there when we're done.
guys never leave home without it. It's fucking terrifying. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube, watch some GoPro footage from these guys' deployments, and it's like, oh, we've got an enemy on the left. Oh, where's he at? Oh, just fucking send it. Just fucking bloop, 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 bloop. Good Because anything that was on the left isn't fucking there anymore.
That's why Marines are on the philosophy of we don't need we don't retreat, we just need more ammo and a bigger gun. Something like that. I can't remember the phrase now.
At all. It's just gone. Like, what fucking middle schooler designed this fucking weapon? It's insane. And then they gave it to a bunch of guys that drink Cobra blood for fun. And if you ever get a chance to go drinking with a bunch of Marines, do it. Fucking do it. It's like trying to herd a bunch of toddlers, except all the toddlers can beat your ass. Like, you go out drinking with a bunch of Marines, you just get to talk mad shit to everybody, because they'll just clear out the whole fucking bar. And then even if the cops do show up, one of those motherfuckers is a Marine, and he's gonna let you guys off. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a surprise how many police officers I know are ex-military and Marines.
In conclusion, if you're a Marine, thanks for your service. I love you all. And if you're not a Marine and you see some shit like this coming up your beach one day, fucking run, because you're either going to get your ass beat or you're going to get dead.
Or both, get your ass beat and then they just come back later and be like, yeah, he started on TikTok. But alright, so the next one is... Oh, all right, we have another one. We do have another one. Is this a full video or another short? I'm doing him and Marines, just in general.
Ladies and gentlemen...
It's another short. This one is... The Fat Electrician Reviews Marine Tactics. No, wrong one. I should be there later. Oh, that's a face right there. Alright.
Gentlemen, a Marine friend of mine once told me that if you find yourself in a fair fight, your tactics suck. So let's talk about some...
Oh, yeah, I believe that, 100%. That is a phrase I support that message.
Marine tactics. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the United States Marine Corps' military operations on urbanized terrain. It's a 348-page manual of exactly what the Marines do on the battlefield. And you can just...
Man, that should just be like, get out of the way.
Download this on Google anytime you want. Because whether you know what the Marines are doing or not, they're gonna fucking do it anyway. I'm absolutely convinced that they let you download...
You can tell how this is probably still early days. He's bouncing out of frame and shit.
This to give the enemy a false sense of confidence. Because they are smarter than they would like you to believe. If you don't know, you actually have to have a higher ASVAB score to be a Marine than you do a soldier in the Army. If you don't know, ASVAB is basically like the military grade IQ test.
Yeah, my buddies were really high on that and joined the Air Force. And they're like, yeah, what job do you want? That's... Granted, his family is really smart.
Now, the reason I show you the Marine Bible is because I'd like to read you my favorite verse. This is page A23, section 18, and I quote...
I see the words hand grenade.
Combat built-up areas require extensive use of hand grenades. A Marine should throw a grenade before entering rooms or negotiating stairways, mouse holes, and so on. Section D, Marines should throw grenades into openings before entering buildings. Okay, let me put that into perspective.
Yeah, I like that philosophy. We're just going to chuck this thing, blow up anybody who's in there, and anyone who's within the adjacent rooms now afraid because, it might come again.
Most conventional forces will throw in a flashbang grenade, or if they're super cool, a quack bang grenade, to stun or disorient the enemy. Marines are just like, fuck it, frag grenade. Why would I disorient you when I could just kill you? If you don't know a frag...
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's like, well, if I'm going in there, I'm going to shoot people. Why waste the flash?
Grenade is short for fragmentation. These are the grenades you see in the movie that blow up and fucking kill everything. Apparently, Marines use them extensively. No wonder they like the Mark 19. I need you guys to understand how ridiculous this is. Do you imagine being a bad guy that's been training to take on the U.S. military? And you know that most forces throw in a flashbang grenade. There you are, sitting there, you know they're coming through that door. You see a grenade get thrown in, so you close your eyes, knowing full well that as soon as you hear the boom, you just start firing at the door because they're going to be coming through. But then you hear the boom, and you open your eyes, and... the fuck? Oh, they must have been Marines. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just wake up dead. The game was over before it started. There's no reset buttons on that shit, that's why they call it the Forever Box. Fuck around with the Marines, you might get put in it with a snow shovel. Who knows? Here's the point.
He's from the Midwest. Okay, I'm going to go past that.
I'm trying to get...
I almost want to say Iowa.
Across. Marines fight fucking dirty, and it's beautiful. They believe that if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Playing...
They are the Eddie Guerreros of the military.
Fair is dumb. They're there to win as fast as possible. And the worst part is even when it is a fair fight, they're probably still gonna outclass you. I went paintballing with that same Marine friend of mine. Since me and him were the only ones with military experience, it was 2 versus 8. So naturally we got surrounded immediately. Hey Jeff, we're surrounded, bud. Ha! Those poor bastards. That is like the
Yeah, that sounds about right.
perfect attitude to represent the Marines. They don't care about the circumstances. Their plans of winning remain the same at all times. In conclusion, if you're in the market for a swift and extensive ass whooping, call up the United States Marine Corps. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy my content, maybe like to buy me a beer about it, there's a link for that right here in my bio. If you're not watching this on TikTok, try checking the video description. That is also the link where you can find my t-shirts and...
Yeah, I always link his merch page. Because he hasn't once told me not to do this. Let's see. And last but not least, we head over to here. Oh, I'm playing Secret of Monkey Island 2. I was playing this is Marine Outsmart Sturpa's Advanced AI. But no, I'm playing Sea of Thieves, and they had like a collab with Secret of Monkey Island, and I don't know anything about it, and I was like, screw it, I'll just play it.
By popular demand after this tweet went viral on the internet, today we're talking about that time that...
Yep.
By popular demand after this tweet...
8 Marines, and not a single one got detected.
Went viral on the internet. Today we're talking about that time that 8 Marines went toe-to-toe against DARPA's artificial intelligence in an epic battle of wits and won.
Inconceivable.
Okay, so...
Yeah, everyone says like, how like not smart the Marines are, but then they pull stuff like this. They're like Jack Sparrow. It's like, it's impossible. No, it's improbable.
Here's the deal. That tweet is a picture of half a page from a book that hasn't even come out yet. That book is For Battlegrounds by Paul Scher, and it comes out next month, February 2023. And I actually reached out and got a hold of Paul to get the whole story, and here's what I found out. Once upon a time in...
He is also a man who needs to switch to decaf.
2019, DARPA had a program known as Squad X. The overall goal of this program was to be able to integrate an autonomous AI with an infantry unit, RoboGrunt. They wanted to make RoboGrunt. Basically, they were going to take an artificial intelligence, shove it inside of a flying drone or a little car drone or inside of a robot dog, and it was going to follow the grunts out into battle and act as an early warning system. Using cameras and sensors, it would be able to identify enemies from way further out than a human ever could. Not a terrible idea. So DARPA
No.
got...
Especially if you have someone who's like my buddy Blake, who's like, the breeze will push him over. Let's put it that way. Still wants to serve in the military, but knows he is not frontline material. He can actually help out by running this thing and let...
to work. They built the robots, they built the AI, but then they actually had to train the AI how to identify people. And apparently the best way to do this was by just actually doing it. So they brought in 8 Marines for a week to help train this artificial intelligence. And for the first...
I have a feeling the Marines first try to get drunk. That's just me.
6 days, it went great. Basically, the AI just watched the Marines walk around and do things a human would do, while the computer engineers helped teach the algorithm what it was looking at. But then on the 7th day, DARPA would make a classic tactical error by challenging the Marines. Apparently, with only 6 days of...
As we learned in the last video, Marines don't play fair. You challenge them to a contest. They're winning.
Training, they wanted to see how well their artificial intelligence would stack up against the Marine Corps' 100% organic cran-fed fuckery. I'm gonna give you a hint, it didn't go well. The challenge was they were gonna set the robot up out in the open, and the Marines had to start from like 1,000 yards away, and they had to sneak up on the robot and touch it without ever being identified as a human. As soon as they said go, the first 2 Marines took off doing somersaults for the entire 1,000 yards. They made it all the way to the robot completely unidentified. And I can only assume that it is at this point that the computer engineers realized that they were gonna have a bad...
They're grown men, probably my height, or at least 6 foot. Somewhere between around 200 pounds, just somersaulting. It had to be. I wish there was a video of this out there.
Bad day. Because it only got more ridiculous from there. Another Marine went out in the woods, stripped all the branches off of a fir tree, dressed himself up like a tree, and then slowly, and I quote, walked like a fir tree all the way to the robot. And then my personal favorite...
Yeah. It was probably watching like Kicking Mustang or something, and it's like, yeah, it could be a bush. Screw that tree. They're better. And
example, 2 Marines found a large box and then proceeded to do the old Metal Gear Solid trick where they use the Amazon Prime print camouflage to sneak all the way up to the robot and touch it. According to the author, you could actually hear them audibly giggling from inside the box the entire time.
well, yeah, because somehow it's working. You just have to use the video game tactics. Actually, 3 video game tactics. Dodging isn't. What is it? It's Dark Souls diving. You don't get hit in that. You went with I dressed up as a tree. I've seen that like in plenty of games. And then you went full Metal Gear. Yeah. Marines are giant children.
And this raises one very important question. How mad were these engineers? So I asked the author.
Well, in this case, I mean, it's a DARPA project, so it's just experimental, and they're trying to push the bounds. I don't know, I can't speak to the engineers. I mean, they might not have appreciated it. Maybe they did appreciate someone highlighting these problems. The program manager who relayed the anecdote to me was really pleased because they learned something, right? They learned about the limitations.
They learned that Marines are stupid, and you can't predict stupid.
To the system, and you'd really much rather find that out in a training environment than when you do it overseas in a war zone and the enemy does it. But it's good that they found it out early rather than before they'd invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this.
Okay, fine. Well,
yeah, okay, give him that point. I'll give him that point.
If he's not going to speak for the engineers, that leaves it open to my interpretation, and I think it went something like this.
I hate them.
In conclusion, I think the
I like my thing. You can't predict stupid.
big takeaway from this story is that artificial intelligence is nowhere near ready to go toe-to-toe with the American grunt on the battlefield. Because regardless of how smart it is or how smart it gets, it's never going to be able to figure out what the grunts are doing until they're already doing it. Because the grunts don't know what they're doing until they're doing it. And you can't be 3 steps ahead of somebody that never knows where they're going. Because at the end of the day, historically speaking, the American military's only ever had one plan, and that's to show up and improvise. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack, bang, out.
As always, I will have a link to that down in my description. Yeah, no, like I said, if I were to join, which I thought about it 10 years ago. I'm old. Yeah, I would have gone Marines, and yeah, it's something I've learned just from like playing games, hanging out with people who were in the military. They all kind of have the same thing of they're the crazy kid. They're basically the good version of a redneck, where it's just like you give them a few things and leave them alone, and next thing you notice they have something scary that works that shouldn't work. That's it. That is all I have. I will have a video out tomorrow, which is going to be
Hello, AEW.
Background. 7 non-AEW stars that could be showing up in All in London from about a month ago. So I hope there's not a few people on that issue down there. But that's it. That's all I have. I will see you weird people later.